I mean, where the fuck should I really even start?
Hey, what's up? What's up? All right, guys. So today it's just your host, Holly. Alana couldn't make it with us today, but we're going to have a great show. We've got a guest today, Cody Dodge. So, Cody is a very successful realtor here in North Georgia. I see him on my socials all the time. And I really wanted him to come on and talk about this very smart newsletter system that he uses. So I'm going to let Cody just do a quick intro and we're going to dive into this newsletter.
Yeah, guys. So I'm Cody. I got licensed last January, so I've been licensed a little over a year. Kind of primarily like to stick to the Dawson County, Hall County, Forsyth County area. Sell a lot of real estate there, and I really love the marketing, social media, media as a whole aspect of things. So like to make that a big part of my business.
Wow, I did not realize you were still kind of a newbie, which is
Yeah.
amazing how I would never have guessed that actually with how, I mean, you've got it so put together. It's crazy, actually. I'm very impressed. I mean, I haven't even hit 1,000 on Instagram followers, and you've got over 5,000. I admittedly, and anyone who's seen my videos before, you guys know, like, that's not my forte. I totally suck at that stuff. So I'm still trying to learn all of that. But Cody, so being still so new in the industry, I mean, did somebody teach you how to do this, or how did you, how did you put all these puzzle pieces together with the marketing?
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. So before I got licensed, I was literally just like you, like social media and all that stuff was not my thing. Like I don't think I'd posted in like 3 years before I got licensed. And then I waited like probably 5, 6 months. And then I was like, man, like I think social media is kind of gaining a lot of traction. Obviously, I was late to the party because it had already gained traction, but I started seeing it and I was like, I probably need to start doing this. So I just kind of started off like just trial and error, like trying to figure out what landed, what people liked. So I started off doing like kind of skits, like some funnier stuff because that's kind of my personality. And then that got some traction, but it doesn't really help you like get business and like I guess form relationships. I guess it can. I just couldn't figure out how.
Mhm.
And so I did that. I did like just market updates, real estate updates, things like that. And I pretty much just kept posting every day and like just posted different stuff and eventually just figured out what people actually like seeing and then just kind of went from there.
What do people like seeing? Because I know, you have a good mix of types of content. Some looks like it might be template, geared. Some others are a little more, um, well, I'll show one in a minute, but there are a few different styles that you use. Is there one over others that seems to get more traction? Or like, what did you do that changed that was like, oh, wow, like people are actually starting to, you know, subscribe?
Yeah. So it's definitely the hyper local stuff. So like that, I did not create that in any way. Like I just stole that from other people, but that's what people actually enjoy watching. So like they don't care about you at all. So that's why when people are like posting all these generic like Canva templates, like DM me to buy or sell, like ooh, like nobody cares about that, and that's why it doesn't work. And then people just say, "Oh, social media doesn't work." Well, it does if you give people value and you give people what they care about. So like the hyper local, new restaurants, new stores, new developments, people really like. So if there's like construction going on a semi-popular road, odds are a lot of people are going to see that, and odds are nobody knows what's going on. So if you have knowledge of that and then you put it out there, people are going to watch it till the end. People are going to share it with their friends and be like, oh, like that's what that is. And that's what Instagram and social media wants, is it wants people sharing your stuff with other people to then get them back into the app, because that's what Instagram and all the social media sites, that's what they care about, is people getting on the app.
Right. Okay, I'm going to share an example of so they can kind of really see what you're talking about. So I want to show them one of those posts. I'm going to show them. Okay, so check this out.
Now this is a restaurant that I am pumped about that is coming to Forsyth County in November of 2026. So a taco chain from Florida called Talkin' Tacos is now officially opening up their second Atlanta location over in Forsyth County near the Collection. So this brand has blown up pretty quick. They actually started off as a food truck, and that was back in 2020, but blew up because of one thing majorly, and that is their burrito tacos. But since then they've expanded to 30 plus locations across the country, and now they are bringing that same concept to Forsyth County. And with that, they're bringing burritos, tacos, quesadillas, all the original, Mexican food, but they're also bringing some pretty interesting things like burrito pizza and even burrito ramen. The actual restaurant is going to have a kind of nightlife kind of vibe, but it's also going to be very family friendly and open during the daytime. And they are targeting that November 2026 opening, and they are handing out free burrito tacos to the first 100 people that show up. So you best believe that line is probably gonna be long, and I might end up being there. So this is just another addition to the Forsyth County food scene, but this is one that I'm pretty excited about. So let us know down in the comments what you think of this new restaurant coming to Forsyth County.
Okay. I think that gives a good idea of the kind of style. So, okay, let me just unpack this. So that video to me, I feel like that would take me a week to work on. Anytime that I have a YouTube channel called Living in Dawsonville.
Yeah.
There's 5 videos in there. This is our my best friend and I do this channel, which is the Realtor Rant. And the only reason that I actually do it is because my best friend and I do it together. And it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
And I'm forced to do it because I have to be accountable to her or I'll get in trouble with her. And I don't want that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, I guess let me start at the beginning. First of all, how do you get the I am very plugged into the county. I'm very plugged into the area. I'm on the elections board. I attend, commissioner meetings on occasion. I am very plugged in. But I don't post any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you first get your content sort of, here's what I'm going to, because then I get stumped too. I'm like, I don't know what I want to talk about. So how do you start there?
So I've got with the new development and the restaurants and stores, all that stuff, new buildings, I have a VA that goes in and pulls the different commissioner meetings. They'll pull all the updated permits. So that shows all new proposals, that shows all new buildings and businesses that are coming in. So they'll go through, pull all that. And then we've got a pretty nice AI system set up to where they can just plug those documents in and give it a few prompts. And then it kind of spits out what's going to be the most popular thing to talk about. So once all that happens, they then give me a list of things, and then I kind of read up on them a little bit. A lot of the stuff I already kind of know about just from knowing people in the county, knowing people in the cities, already kind of talking about it a little bit. But I'll just go through, look at what is interesting to talk about, and then at the beginning or at the end really of each month, I'll just compile everything into a content calendar for the next month. So then I just wake up every day and I know exactly what to post that day. So I don't have to give it any thought. So it's super fast.
So are you creating the content in a batch?
Yeah.
When you actually record?
Definitely. So I started off doing it. I tried to edit it by myself because I don't really analyze a lot before going. I just kind of see something I want to do and I just go ahead and do it. Kind of the ready, fire, aim strategy. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And then I figured out after probably 2 videos of editing it myself, I'm yeah, this is a complete waste of time for me. So then I went and found a guy overseas that does short form editing. So now he does all of them for me.
All right. So how often do you actually do the batch recording of the content?
I'll just do it. Yeah. Just do it at the beginning, each Monday. So I'll just in the morning, I already have strips that are scripted out. And then it's usually, 7 of them. So 1 for each day of the week. And then I just knock it out in 45 minutes on Monday. And then that's it.
How do you create your script?
A lot of AI, but so I use the AI to kind of do the framework for me. So like you got to remember I already have all of the data that we're going to be talking about. So then I just kind of prompt AI to say like, hey, give me a social media script based on this information. And then it like spits something out that sounds really AI-ish. So I'll go in there and kind of like tweak it a little bit and play with it until it sounds like something I'd write, but it kind of just gives me the framework. And then I can go in there and kind of say like, type out what I want to say.
When you talk into your camera, do you have like a screen that's telling you anything to say, or are you doing it by memory?
So I just memorize one line at a time. I think that's the best way to do it. So like you just call it 10 lines of information. So if you're looking at it, it looks like a lot, but if you just break it down into one sentence, anybody can memorize one sentence. So I just like turn the camera on, say one sentence, look at the next one, memorize it, say the next one. And then my editor goes in there and like actually, cuts everything, puts everything together to where it sounds natural.
Do you do a YouTube as well, or are you like super focused on Instagram?
Yeah, so I had a decent YouTube channel, but it was connected to my old broker Gmail. So, which is a huge mistake. So don't ever do that. So then when I switched, I completely lost everything with it. So that was recent. So I just now got it restarted. So yes, I do have YouTube, but it's brand new now.
And what kind are you going to do? Like the same kind of content, just longer, or what are you thinking for that content?
Yeah, so that one's more of like this is what it's like to live in this area. This is like the best neighborhoods for X in this area. So kind of like the relocation guide type deal. And then I've got a separate YouTube account where I just like repost these reels for like the new development and all the news and stuff. Because like, if you look at the algorithm and everything, YouTube likes to keep the longs and the shorts separate, which I've learned that. So that's why I have like a separate account for the news and the development and everything.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm screwing up already.
No, I don't think so.
All right. So let me go back to the VA for a second. So where'd you find the VA? Fiverr or Upwork?
Upwork. Yep.
Okay. And then, is your VA, do you pay per video? Is that kind of how you do it?
Yes. So my VA doesn't do the editing. So that's a separate guy that does that. But then I just pay him per video.
Okay. So the editor, and how did you find the editor? Would you just look like in Upwork looking for like short form video editor?
That's what I would do if I was starting from scratch. But I actually knew another agent out in Arizona that had used this guy. And he said like, his pricing's great. He does a really good job. So I was like, all right, cool. Sounds good. So talked with him, onboarded him and everything. And then it's been great ever since then. I don't remember where he found him, but that's how I found him. And then I'm sure if I was starting from scratch, I would just go on Upwork and search, short form video editor, and then figure out like do some trial runs for videos and just find out who can do the style that I want.
The VA. So you've been in it a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
How did your first year go as far as sales?
I did 25 in year one.
Holy
and then
cow.
I've got 11 closed in year two.
That's
or like 2026, whatever year we're in.
Wow, that's insane. So
Yeah.
do you think, like, how did that first 6 months go versus after you started ramping up and putting all this money and energy behind the socials?
So for me, like I've got to figure out how to better use social as like a straight up lead generation thing. Because I know people do it and have a lot of success with it, but I kind of just use it to stay in front of people that I already know.
Okay.
But now it's kind of evolved a little bit. So I need to figure out how I can better use that for straight up lead generation. But I would say the first 6 months, I just didn't have a way of like staying in front of the people I already knew. And then this helped me do that to where I just kind of had people that I already knew, Sphere, reaching out. And it's a lot of people too that I didn't know directly, but they knew people that I knew, but then they
Right.
saw me on social. So I got a lot of those clients too in that back half once I started really taking social media seriously.
Right. So we just had, do you know Nick Alexander Ulatowski?
Yeah. Nick's a good buddy.
So we just had him on last week, and he said something similar where because he's really big with socials, but it's more of another way to get in front of and keep in front of his sphere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now the way I use it, which I've kind of figured out is probably the best way I like to use it, is just like being like using social media to be social, like how it's intended. So I like create the content that everybody wants to see. And then that kind of gets them in the ecosystem. And then after that, I'll shoot them a message and just ask like, hey, where are you from? They'll tell me. And it's just like, I like to think of it, it's just like I'm meeting somebody like at the gym. Like I walk up to them, but I'm actually just sending them a DM. I say, hey, where are you from? Just the way I would do like in a gym setting, or like, what do you do for like things like that. And then
You
start a
come here
conversation with them
often.
there. Yeah. You come here often. What are you hitting? I don't say that in the DMs. That'd be a little weird. But
Oh, you're breaking up.
oh, you got me now?
Okay, you're back.
Yeah, it went. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so I figured out the best way to do it is just use social media to be social and start conversations. Because like as real estate agents, that's the important thing, like meeting people, having conversations, making friends, making sure people know you, making sure you know people. So I figured out that's such a good way to do it. And so I've added so many people to my database just doing that.
Okay, at what point did you hire the VA?
Last August.
So you were what? How long were you in at that point? 8 months?
Real estate, yeah. Social media, that would have been like 2 or 3 months in.
What prompted you to hire the VA, and what do they do for you?
Just kind of doing all the things and realizing it's not a good use of my time. So let's see, what all do they so they do this, like the information gathering for the social media. They will do like templates in Canva that I already have that are super simple. I got like all these workflows for buyers and sellers. So they do a lot of steps in those workflows. And then they do a lot of like CRM management too. So just like cold leads, just reminding me to follow up with people if needed. Like if the task lists and everything fail, like they'll kind of go back in and be like, hey, you were supposed to follow up with somebody, they didn't. So go ahead and go do that. So that's just kind of all the minuscule stuff that I don't really want to do. It's not a good use of my time.
And so at what point would you say you were like, okay, I can't handle all of this? Like how much volume had you done at that point where you decided it was worth the investment to hire a VA? Is the VA full-time or part-time?
She does like 20 hours a week. So technically part-time. Sometimes it goes over.
So at what point did you decide that was worth the investment?
I mean, probably when I was doing a solid amount of deals and also getting the social media and everything going, I kind of realized I was spread a little thin. But then I just kind of, like they tell you to do the whole, like map out what you do in 15-minute increments for a day and figure out like where your time's actually going. So I did that and I was just like, whoa, like these are such low dollar activities that I'm doing. So at that point I was like, yeah, I think I need to try to bring on a VA, build some repeatable systems, things like that to kind of get a little bit more efficient.
Okay. Do you use any social media template type like coffee and contracts?
I don't know. Just because I feel like everybody does it. So I just like, if everybody's doing something, I want to go the complete opposite direction with it.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and pivot. I want to show them this newsletter too. So let me go back, share my screen, and show them this newsletter that you do. Share screen. All right. So so when you post your socials, it also, there's a link that brings whoever watches it, they can click on this North Atlanta. Well, you go ahead and tell about this newsletter and what you're doing with this.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just a weekly newsletter. So like my whole sphere is in that ecosystem. And then I've got like a link in my bio that says, join, the best newsletter in North Atlanta for all the news development and everything. So as soon as you go to my profile, you can see that and click on it. And it just goes to a landing page where you can put in your email and join the newsletter. And then at every post, I'll have a CTA that says, go to the link in the bio to join the newsletter. So then people just join that newsletter. And then every week, towards the end of the week, it goes out and it just has like, I'll throw in all the news that I was going to talk about on social, but everybody in the newsletter gets it early. So it's just everything that I talk about in social for the most part, but just on the newsletter. So it'll be like a main story, and then it'll be like events coming up in different areas. And then it'll be like restaurants that I've gone to that I really like. So we'll do like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like the best spots I like in each little area. And then it'll have like some market update, some real estate stuff, but it's honestly not a lot of real estate related things. It's mainly just things that people actually want to read about.
And you use MailChimp?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay, awesome. I love that. And so how long have you been doing the newsletter?
Newsletter's pretty new. I would say the newsletter's like 2.5, 3 months old. So it's still pretty new.
Okay. I just think it's really smart. I mean, and so it's new, but you've already got 2,611 followers on so you made an Instagram just for the newsletter too.
Yeah. So it's called Inside North Atlanta. So it's like a separate page from my real estate page. So like all that's on there is like the news, the development, all that stuff. And then I just post it on my real estate page and then collaborate with that page. But I only collaborate like the news and the development. So then you could just literally go there. Like, so think if you drive by something on the road and you're like, I wonder what that is. You can kind of go to the page and hopefully find it. Hopefully we posted about it at some point. But it's like the Inside North Atlanta, that's my YouTube thing too. So that's like kind of the whole real estate entity right there. But then I've got my real estate page, and that's where I'll post like listings. I'll post like my personal stuff, but I don't put any of that on the Inside North Atlanta page. So that's all separate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So it's not too much extra work, really. You're just tagging that page and it automatically puts it on there.
Yeah, it's like no extra work at all.
Okay. That's really cool. So with my living in Dawsonville, for example, if I did something that was just hyper focused on Dawsonville specifically, if I made a post about Dawsonville specifically on my personal / realtor, Insta, then I just add living in Dawsonville, boom, and then it creates that. Great.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's so like, it seems simple. It's like one of those things, I don't know about you, but I have all of these. I mean, I think a lot of realtors fall into this trap of like, I have this big like task list of projects that I want to do. It's like, it's like status not started. Like everything's not started, but I have all these great ideas of it. Putting it together just feels it's like such a big undertaking. And you have a baby now, right? I mean, I have young children, and it's just like, it's so hard to sit down, and it just takes so much time to actually get this stuff started. But it's amazing that you, again, have been in the business, a year and a half now. And am I saying that right? A year and a half?
Yeah, year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. And look how much you've actually taken action on and created. It's really impressive.
Yeah. So I read this book called The 12-Week Year, and it's essentially just like annual goals are kind of tough to do just because you tell yourself, oh, I've got 11 more months to do it. You know, you say like, I want to get in better shape, or I want to lose 20 pounds this year. So then like it's halfway through the year and you haven't done anything, but then you're like, oh, well, I got 6 months to do it. I'll still do it. So that applies to all the different projects and stuff too. Like I want to start like for you, it could be, I want to start a living in Dawsonville page and post one time a day. Like that's your project, right? But then you just do it in 12-week increments. So then it feels like a lot less daunting, but then that's like the only project that you're focusing on versus like looking at that whole list and you're like, oh my gosh, like I want to do this. It's just like, all right, let me just pick one thing. And then this whole 12-week year, that's going to be my goal. And then once I do that and get to the end of the year, then I'm going to reward myself, or I'm going to, say job well done. And then that's kind of how what I've used to do everything. So I just like break it down into these 12-week increments where I'm like, these 12 weeks, obviously I have all my other stuff to do, but I'm just going to focus on building this out. And then like it's crazy what you can actually end up doing, even though 12 weeks doesn't even sound like a whole lot.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that book. I don't believe I've actually read it, but I've heard so much about it that I feel like I've read it, but I should probably just read it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's short too. Like it's easy to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else that we didn't cover about the process that how you're using this whole Instagram with the newsletter? Anything else that would be helpful for viewers?
I don't think so. I also do a thing, and like I don't think really anybody does this, but if I like have a good conversation with somebody on social, I always try to like get it off of social, because you would be surprised how many people you can find on social media that are just like you and that you can become really good buddies with. Like I've met so many people this year that are actually genuinely good friends now, just by like putting myself out there and saying like, hey man, like, what do you do? Where are you from? Like, what's up? So whenever I have a good conversation like that, like get their phone number, send them a text. Like if you ever need anything, genuinely, like just let me know. Like I'm right down the road from you. And then after I do that, I'll send them like a handwritten card of like, hey man, like, hey, so-and-so, it was great meeting you, great talking with you. If you ever need anything, just let me know. So send them the handwritten card, and then also add them to like a mailer list. So then they're getting that too. I've had like, I'll send the handwritten card and then I'll see the person, or they'll just text me and be like, that was the coolest thing ever. I didn't even know people still did that. So,
are you talking about you send the handwritten card after you have the first, like an actual appointment, or are you just meeting them as friends for coffee, or what's
no,
the
intention? I'll just meet them on social, like just.
Okay, so you haven't met them in person.
No.
And how did you get there? How did you go from meeting them on social to getting their mailing address to send them a nice to meet you card?
I just search tax records, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong.
Okay.
Pretty much. Okay. And that's the gist of it.
I love that.
Honestly,
so
honestly I'm right most of the time. So it usually gets there.
So you're sending a handwritten card after you just made a contact on socials and had some sort of interaction exchange that was friendly, and you're sending them a card that says what?
It literally just says like, hey, so-and-so, it was great talking with you recently. Usually we'll talk about something. So like we'll find something in common. So I'm like, let me know if you ever want to go grab a coffee or grab a beer or go play pickleball. It's just something like that we talked about. I don't send it to everybody. Like I'm not just going to say, like reach out to somebody and they say, oh, I'm from Dawsonville, love your page. And I'm like, oh, cool. Sounds good. Let me know if you need anything. I'm not going to send them a card.
But more if you like connect with somebody. Right,
exactly. Like if I actually connect with somebody, we take it off social media, we're texting back and forth, call, let's go get a beer, let's go get a coffee or something. If it's like a genuine conversation like you'd have in person, then I'll send it at that point.
Okay. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Kind of a long game, but I've found it works pretty good.
Awesome. Okay, let's I'll wrap it up here, but I wanted to ask you leave us with like one nugget or hack. If you could think of like one maybe time-saving hack or some little trick that you're using now, is there anything that comes to mind that could be helpful to realtors?
I would just say the VA thing. I think the VA is huge.
Okay.
And then just create like, I use Loom, which is
Yep.
like where you can like go in, share your screen, and then talk through systems. And I'll pretty much just record whatever system I don't want to do anymore, and then I'll just share it with them, and then they start doing it. And it takes time because like they're not going to know how to do it right off the bat, but you got to think about how much time you're going to save in the long run. And once you get the system dialed in, you are going to save a ton of time, but by not doing all these small minuscule tasks.
I think what stops people from getting a VA is cost. I mean, we have a lot of, subscriptions and we have a lot of money going out the door, especially if you're listing heavy and listings are sitting. There's a lot of money going out the door. So like, I think the question that stumps a lot of us is how much volume should I be doing every month before I can justify the hiring a VA?
That's a tough question because I mean they're like $4 or $5 an hour. So it's like once you calculate what your time is worth and like what your lead generation time is worth, like it usually always works out to not even being close. Like if you're calling expireds and say you call 100 and get 2 appointments, and I know this math is completely wrong, but say you get 2 appointments, one of those turns into a sold listing. So call that $10,000 in commissions. You made 100 calls, like however long that takes you. You need to work out like what your hourly rate is,
Mm-hmm.
and if that makes sense as far as the VA goes, I think you should do it because then that frees up all the time that you're spending on all this stuff that doesn't make you any money, and then you can just put it into lead generation.
Right.
That's what we have to do is generate leads.
Yeah. I hear that. I think that's great. I think that is super helpful. And anything else you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah,
We went pretty in depth on it.
I think this was really helpful. I kind of just wanted to dive into those two, just your videos and then how they link to the newsletter specifically, because I haven't really seen anyone do it to that level of execution. Like I mean, you have a really good system going here. And so I want to commend you on that. And thank you so much for coming on here, Cody, today. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me. And yeah, if anybody listens to this and has questions or, wants to pick my brain on anything, I'm sure you'll put my information in there. So, just feel free to use that.
Absolutely. Yes. I'll put your contact in the show notes and definitely reach out to Cody. He's super helpful. And yeah, hopefully we'll have you back on another time to talk about maybe another marketing strategy that you employ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you.
All right. We'll end it there. Bye guys. Thanks for tuning in.
That's today's rant, friends.
If you loved it, share it.
And if you hated it, share it anyways. See you next week.